everyone. I'm going to talk about the January Gala Reward Competition, which features the Rocking Horse meta, then go over my suggestions for this competition, as well as show you a build I made using no NFTs other than the Enchanted Ornament 7. And it's a really good build and it can be improved upon even further. Afterwards, I'll explain the suggested build process that you can follow in order to get to this finished build if you wish to do so. Near the end, I will be discussing the details of an Enchanted Fireworks giveaway that I will be doing, and what you need to know in order to participate for a chance to win a free NFT. There's a lot going on here, so let's get started. The next competition will be on January 10, 2023. This is a Gala reward competition, so the top 1,000 placements will receive a Gala reward, with better placements receiving a higher Gala reward. They forgot to show the table here for the rewards, but I also have it available on the Townstar playbook on the competitions page. I always leave the link for the Townstar playbook in the description of my Townstar related videos. For this competition, the meta will be Rocking Horses. Rocking Horses will sell for 3,000 in-game cash, which is a reduced amount of cash, and give 30,000 points per each, and only take 30 seconds to craft instead of the usual 3 minutes for this competition. Rocking Horses are crafted in the Santa factory and stored in a warehouse. As for the cash boost meta, Flower will remain cash boosted just like the previous competition, with Flower selling for 5,500 in-game cash. But we also now have Silica cash boosted, selling for an insane 32,000 in-game cash for every single Silica. That's a lot. That's 32 times more than the original amount. With that being said, I strongly suggest doing a Silica rush in order to acquire money very early in the game, and even having excess Silica to sell on the finished build to pay off all the wages. Of course, before you get to the Silica rush, you may have to sell 2 batches of flour, but most of the time you will be selling Silica for cash at the start. That's what I mean by Silica rush. Here are the other important changes. The wages will be higher than usual since the Christmas related buildings cost to build and the wages have increased as originally intended. This is a core change. Make sure to check the announcement for the new planned values. I will also have all of this information updated on the Townstar playbook after the updates are live in game, which should be live on January 9th, 2023 on Monday, the day before the competition begins. Sand mines will now craft Silica with a 30-second craft timer in any biome. Basically, that means that the sand proximity effect is no longer necessary for sand mines. This opens up the ability to do this meta in other biomes such as forest or plain biomes with no adjacent desert or ocean required to positively impact the sand mine craft times. This is said to be a core change. Molten Glass will have its craft time reduced to 60 seconds for this competition only. So this is specifically a meta change. This will help with possibly shaving off 1 or maybe 2 glass factories from your final build. As for which biome I would recommend, even though you don't need a desert for sand mines anymore, I would still recommend a desert for the oil seep, as the passive crude oil will save you multiple spots as you won't need to build oil pumps, and you will be able to craft energy from power plants incredibly quickly, which you will need to have all that energy for all the ceramic bowls you will need to make, or all the other materials you need to make the Rocking Horses. That being said, you can always take the nuclear power plant route, and you will have no issue making a really good build without using a desert biome. But you'll still use up anywhere from 4 to 6 spots on oil pumps in order to craft gasoline. So you probably want a desert because it always makes things easier. As for biome edges, I recommend either a river or a mountain. I suppose a river and an adjacent mountain would be even better, but those locations are rare. If you had to pick one or the other, I suggest a mountain over a river, since it would be more ideal to save spots on using less mountains. If you're wondering if you should sacrifice a desert biome over a mountain or a river, I would personally not recommend it. I still believe a desert will be more convenient. Of course, not having to worry about the placement of the oil seep can be beneficial if you want to set up your build in another way. As for oceans, you don't need any, so stay away from oceans completely. Okay, before I move on to the build showcase, I do want to mention that there is another free NFT for playing in the month of January. They have done this every month for the past couple of months. So if you play on 10 different days, completing at least one trade each day, and at least 25 trades before the month ends, trades meaning selling items in game, then you will qualify for a free common NFT that will be distributed the following month. If you own a Townstar node and run it for at least 6 hours a day on 10 different days, then you will qualify for a free uncommon NFT, also distributed at the following month. It is possible to qualify for both the common and uncommon NFT if all requirements are met. The exact NFT hasn't been revealed, but most likely it will be a dedicated storage of some kind, as the last couple have been. For the month of December, the NFT reward will be a candy cane storage, which should get distributed this month, possibly in a matter of days. Okay, moving on now. This is the Rocking Horse build I made using no NFTs with the exception of Enchanted Ornament 7, but it won't make a difference if you have it. It's important to note that all the changes are not live in the game as of recording this video. With the new changes, you will be able to make some adjustments, which I'll discuss later. This build does 39 rocking horses per hour, close to almost 40 per hour. Considering it doesn't have a mountain or river or nuclear power plants, that's very good, and there's still plenty of room for improvement. If you were to have a mountain and tweak it to implement nuclear power plants, you could definitely push to get at least 45 per hour. I'm pretty sure this build can already get people into the top 1000, but of course, the more you improve it, the better off you will be in the rankings. I'm purposely trying to make a build that can be done in many locations, and it's not overly complicated to get to, and that it can be improved, as I always encourage people to improve upon the builds that I share. So this build is done on a North Desert layout. I made sure to build it in a way where you could get a mountain on the south side or a river on the west side. And so it won't obstruct the north side and you can still keep the North Desert layout. A problem I realized with the last build I shared with the Boom Canes competition was that you couldn't get a river on the north side without it changing the desert layout. So I made sure to keep that in mind when I worked on this build. As always, utilize the ghost door trick by having buildings face each other or a pond or the edge of the town to increase the efficiency of the build. With the new meta changes reducing the craft time of rocking horses and molten glass, I do believe that this build will work just fine with one less Santa's factory and one less glass factory. That frees up 2 spaces to do with as you please. Also, this is a cash negative build right now just because the meta changes aren't live, but once they are live, this definitely has to be a cash positive build, as 200 excess silica is being crafted and sold every hour. So your wages will be higher, but you will get a lot more money from selling the excess silica. So before I move on to the suggested visualized build process, let me show you what some of these buildings are crafting. So right here I have 4 Wizards Workshops crafting Mystic Matter, 2 Wizards Workshops crafting glue, for master wizards crafting enchanted objects. All glass factories, 4 glass factories crafting molten glass. This refinery is crafting the petroleum. This refinery is crafting the gasoline. Both of these power plants are crafting energy as they have passive crude oil from the oil seep. I have 11 mines. The one at the most to the left is crafting iron as it has only 1 energy. 5 of them are crafting limestone and 5 of them are crafting chromium. I'm going to show you the order that I have them in, but you can always experiment. This one is crafting limestone. This one is the only one that does not have the full 3 passive energy, so it will collect 1 energy from the warehouse, from all the energy that's being crafted. So it's limestone, 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 followed by chromium, 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 ending with another limestone, limestone. The 2 at the edge over here are crafting chromium. If you were to have a mountain, I'm sure you could have less mines and condense all your mines on one side over here. Of course, I have these Santa's factories crafting the rocking horses, and a total of 7 pottery shops crafting ceramic bowls, the 3 fabric plants crafting cotton yarn, the 4 lumber mills crafting lumber, but those are pretty obvious. And this one, 5 beehives, 2 of which are crafting honey, 3 of which are crafting honeycomb. And this scenario gives me 50 honey per hour and 41 honeycombs per hour. Now that comes out to be 41 glue per hour because I'm overproducing honey and producing just the right amount of honeycombs that I need. But it's okay overproducing honey. You will lose out on some lumber, but ultimately this is the best way to do it in my opinion. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's move on. Okay, so I did this on my last video and people seem to really love it. So I'm going to do a visualized build process for this build. Only thing is that the meta is not live, so I haven't tested all of this out. But since silica is cash boosted, I recommend rushing to sell it near the start of the competition. So hopefully this will make sense. If you like what I'm doing, then remember to like the video if you haven't. It really helps out, so thank you. This is the townguide.eu visualizer tool. I have created a 10-stage setup to show you how you can get to the finished build. Okay, I'm going to assume that you got a desert in the north orientation, so your oil seep will be in that spot. With the amount of cash you start with, you're going to want to work on getting 2 wells built, and after that, build another pond. That way the wheat fields will have full passive water and you can have tree farms. 2 tree farms with 4 out of 5 passive water. It's okay, while the farmer has no wheat to collect, it will slowly start watering the trees. Additionally, you might want a second farmer if you're having issues getting all the trees watered and all the wheat collected. You will of course want a lumberjack to collect the wood from the tree farms. You will want to build a windmill in order to start crafting flour, as you will ultimately need to sell at least 2 batches of flour to finish the next stage. And you will want to have a second builder house to build everything quicker. Of course, you always want to be adding more builder houses, so you may want to add more over time, but I do suggest having at least 2 from the start. So once you sell your first batch of flour, advance to stage 2. Going to want to have a road structure right here with 2 wind turbines crafting energy, a warehouse to put the energy in, a worker right here that will collect the energy and put it in the warehouse. And then next to the warehouse, a sand mine once you've sold your second batch of flour, as sand mines are pretty pricey. This will allow you to start crafting silica. It will require 2 energy, which the worker will collect from the warehouse. Use that energy, bring it over here. And sand mines will have a 30-second timer for silica after the update is live. So you'll be able to quickly craft silica. Worker will come pick it up, put it back in the warehouse. And of course, you want to have flour on auto sell. You also want to put silica on auto sell. Once you get 10 of them, it will sell the silica and you'll get 32,000 per silica, that's 320,000. So you'll be able to quickly accumulate money. Once you have all of this set up, you'll advance to stage 3. Stage 3 involves adding a bigger road structure that will connect a total of 7 wind turbines. Of course, you'll want more workers, so you'll want a total of 4 industrial workers to collect all the energy from these wind turbines. And you will be able to expand to 3 sand mines crafting silica. This will get you money even faster. You will want to add another pond right here because this pond will actually stay in the finished build, unlike these 2 ponds. That way you can add another tree farm, which preferably for the time being is an oak tree farm, as I do recommend getting some oak wood for some water pumps. After you have built 2 ponds right here, you will want to have 4 water pumps like so. Of course, if you need to gather wood faster, you will want to add a second lumberjack and add another builder over here. Of course, you can add more builders like I mentioned. Once you have everything here set up, you can advance to stage 4. Stage 4 will start working on the industrial area, but also your farm area. So you're going to want to start with having some road structures right here. You're going to want to build 2 lumber mills, as these will start crafting lumber, but you will need energy for the lumber mills, and most of the energy is probably being used to craft the silica. So of course you're going to want a lumber storage right here and a warehouse right here. These will stay. So I don't know for sure, but you may want to add 2 wind turbines right here if you need more energy to craft lumber. If you find out that you already have enough energy, then you probably won't need to add these 2, but I'm going to assume that you will need more energy, so add these 2 and potentially add another worker to collect energy if you really need to do so. So once you have excess energy in order to craft the lumber you need, then you can work, well, at the same time you can work on adding all of the ponds that you will need for the build. All of these ponds over here will give you all the water you need for all your trees and crops. That way you can start adding more tree farms. This pond right here will be necessary for the ceramic bowl production, as you'll connect your water pump right here and give passive water drums to your pottery shops to craft ceramic bowls, which you'll see later. Of course, you can add more lumberjacks, and you can add this builder right here, as this spot will be your dedicated builder for the rest of your build. Once you have all this set up, you can advance to stage 5. In the time being, of course, you're always going to be crafting silica over here, making a bunch of money, so you should be able to advance pretty quickly. Once you collect lumber, you will start working on paving these 4 roads. Once you pave those roads, you can start working on these 3 power plants right here. Once both of these power plants are done, they can be turned on and start crafting energy. At that point, you can get rid of the wind turbines you had over here, as you probably won't need them anymore. Then you can build those refineries. This refinery will be crafting petroleum. It has plastic crude oil from the oil seep. This refinery will be crafting gasoline. It has all the passive energy it needs from these 3 power plants. You normally wouldn't set it up this way, but this is the way I decided to set it up to make this flow better. You're going to want your fuel storage right here to have it close to the refinery making gasoline. That way you can make gasoline at a good enough rate. You are going to want to collect enough oak wood to finish building everything that will need oak wood up to this point. That is a water pump right here and a total of 6 water facilities. Of course, you will need oak wood at the very end, but once you have all of this built that requires oak wood, you can get rid of the oak tree farm, and you won't be adding it until the very end. Another thing is you want to add a trade depot at the bottom southern east side corner. That way, well, you'll have your trade depot right there because it's not connected to any roads. That's where I have it at. Eventually, you'll be getting rid of the trade depot at the top. So I believe Once you have all this set up, I believe I'm not missing anything. Once you have all this set up, you will advance to stage 6. Oh, the last thing I do want to mention, I knew I was forgetting something. This power plant right here at the very end, it basically should be part of stage 6. But you'll build this power plant at the very end before transitioning to stage 6. Well, as you transition to stage 6, you'll get rid of the sand, well, the silica rush that you had over here. You'll get rid of all the wind turbines and the sand mines. And you have this power plant built, so now you can build sand mines over here that will have full passive energy. Of course, you want to build 2 forklifts over here to collect the silica quicker, and 2 warehouses to deposit the silica in. Once you have done that, you want to start working on adding loggers on this side. That's not even all the loggers, but just start working on adding loggers since you will need them. Don't get rid of all your lumberjacks until you have some loggers built. This whole section with the builders, I probably should have mentioned this at first, but you may as well build a bunch of builder houses here as you're going to be finishing up the rest of the build. All these builder houses will eventually be replaced with nectar fields at the very end, so it's very easy to get rid of them. You're going to want to add 2 more lumber mills to craft more lumber. This build will feature a total of 4 lumber mills for all the lumber required. And of course, add more trees as necessary since you'll be crafting plenty of lumber to finish up the rest of your build. And the final part of stage 6 would involve paving all of your roads, just the roads that you do plan on keeping. You will be getting rid of all the roads that you do not plan on keeping. Let me go back to stage 5, you can see you do get rid of all these roads on stage 6 and only pave the ones you are keeping. So once you have this all set up, you'll move on to stage 7. Stage 7 just involves adding some more buildings, so you'll finish up adding the rest of your loggers. You will add a 3rd forklift right here. That forklift will focus on picking up the clay lumps near the end. You will add 5 beekeepers. You could possibly get away with 4 of them, but I've only tested this with 5, so I know for sure that it works with 5. You will add your storage buildings, so there's another warehouse right here, 3 more warehouses right here, a storehouse here and a pantry next to it, and a silo here. Other than that, you will add other crops such as your peppermint fields and 2 cotton fields. So it's 6 peppermint fields total. Well, 7 peppermint fields total. 2, and 1. 7 peppermint fields total and 2 cotton fields. I believe that's everything for stage 7, but of course in the next stage, stage 8, you will be adding more buildings. So right here, I would start with the shallow mines. If you're using a mountain, of course you would use regular iron mines, but in this case, shallow mines, a total of 11 of them. Go ahead and build them all. You will temporarily turn on 2 of them to craft iron, temporarily turn on one of your water facilities to craft water drums, and so you'll craft the iron that you need to craft the 4 glass factories, as each one will need 2 iron. Once you have all your glass factories built, go ahead and turn off your iron production and your water drum production until later. You will also want to craft or build 3 fabric plants. You can go ahead and turn them on to craft cotton yarn. They won't actually craft any right now. And you will want to build 7 pottery shops. Once again, turn them all on crafting ceramic bowls, but they won't build them. They won't start crafting them right now. They'll just start crafting them later on. So once you have all of this set up, we'll advance to stage 9, which adds even more buildings. Almost done. So you're going to add your wizard towers, 4 of them right here, crafting mystic matter, 2 of them over here, crafting glue. Let me make sure, yeah, this stage does add the beehive, so you will be adding 5 beehives, 2 of them crafting honey, 3 of them crafting honeycomb. For all of these, you can already go ahead and turn them on. They won't start to actually craft anything until the very end. You will have 4 master wizards crafting enchanted objects. And I believe once you have all of this built, you can advance to stage 10, which is the very last part. Stage 10 will add 2 farm tractors, which will begin to pick up the crops. 3 Santa's factories, which will start crafting rocking horses. Of course, like I said, you really only need 2 of them. You don't need all 3, but for demonstration purposes, I have 3 of them right here. And you will add your oak trees so you can gather the oak wood you need for the rocking horses. This build used a total of 6 oak trees right here. And you add the 3 clay fields for all the clay you need for the pottery shops and the glue, the ceramic bowls and the glue. You will actually probably be crafting excess clay, but don't worry. Just make sure to add just about everything on auto sell. You also want to add lumber on the auto sell, but with a keep amount of 10 or so, because you don't want lumber to accidentally jam all your warehouses. You will also need oak wood, just keep that in mind, oak wood and lumber. Make sure to auto sell wood, just in case. It is possible you may slowly craft an excess amount of wood. I have noticed that, but it usually doesn't get to the point where it sells. But better safe than sorry, just add everything to auto sell except for gas. You really don't have to auto sell gasoline. And once you have all of this built, go ahead and turn everything on, including the water drums. Turn all your mines on the way you want them. I have them the same way that I explained earlier, the same setup right here. And once everything is on, that's it. That's everything. Hopefully I explained it as properly as I can, because I try to do this all in one go. So hopefully this has been very helpful. Okay, moving on to the next step. Okay, so giveaway time. I'm going to be giving away 3 Enchanted Firework NFTs, 2 of which are uncommon and 1 is a rare. That's the Enchanted Fireworks numbers 5, 8, and 9. Now, Enchanted Firework 5 increases the cash you start with on your new town by 6%. Enchanted Fireworks 8 reduces the cost of clearing objects in your town by 6%. And Enchanted Fireworks 9 reduces the cost of clearing objects in the town by 2%. Clearing objects means the money it costs to clear trees, marsh, cactus, scrubs, or rocks. So there will be 3 winners. Each winner gets 1 of these. In order to participate for the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment with either the fireworks emoji or a horse emoji. And I'll put them up in the screen. You can have both emojis in your comment if you really want to, but as long as one of them is in the comments, you will be eligible. Now, I have done giveaways before. This is the first public giveaway, so I will be letting people know that I am doing a giveaway. My last 2 giveaways were more silent, so only the people who watched until the very end knew about them. That is something to keep in mind. I won't do public giveaways all the time. Some of the giveaways I do will be public, some of them will be more silent. I do intend to do more whenever I can. I mean, it might not be anything big anytime soon, but I hope that I can at least help some people out with some of the spare NFTs I acquire. I will announce all 3 winners of this giveaway on my Rocking Horse competition experience video. So as long as you participate before the competition ends, you should be fine. So consider this giveaway as a thank you for helping me reach over 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. That's everything for this video. I'm sure it's long enough as it is. I hope all the information is able to help you succeed in the next Town Star competition. Please consider liking this video if you haven't, and feel free to leave a comment with any questions, or just let me know if you plan on competing on this competition or not. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so you don't miss out on any of my content. Starting next month on February, I plan to work on as many guides and content as I can for Townstar as we begin to experience Townstar in the new Godot game engine and Geary blockchain. It will be a perfect opportunity for some up-to-date guides on gameplay, NFTs, earnings, and other stuff. I also plan to stream the Rocking Horse competition, so feel free to come hang out and ask any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for watching.